are going to discuss our plans for 2018 at Shoei-zan and Kyoji Buddhist Temple of Rochester. Today is our Sunday service here with our usual practitioners here on New Year's Eve. And we wanted to discuss our plans for 2018 and our inspiration. And so I was very much affected positively by several videos that I posted on our Facebook that Kanjin Shonen and Tsumoto Shonen put up on Kanjin Honzon Sho and Rishon Kokudon, two of the writings of Nichiren Shonen. And it really drove home to me the importance of study and practice. And so each year, Sensei and I have talked about a theme, and last year's theme was gratitude, the first of the 6 paramitas, the 6 perfections of the Bodhisattva. And we really focused on kind of helping our Sanghas feel gratitude towards the teaching of the Buddha, to feel gratitude towards Nichiren Shonen, to feel gratitude towards the temple, to feel gratitude towards the Dharma. And as a result, to help the temple out in a variety of ways, whether it's those like we have here today who've taken up the mantle of lay leaders, whether it's those who come with fusei of all sorts, whether it's their labor, their food, flowers, their efforts in sharing the Dharma with friends and family and even strangers. And so this inspiration also reminded me that the next step is jikai, behavior, right? Which includes a lot of different things. It includes how we behave in our own personal practice, how we behave towards others, how we behave towards certain attachments, friends, places, foods, addictions, whatever they may be. And it's the realization that in Nichiren Buddhism, what makes it truly, truly unique is that Nichiren reminds us that the Pure Land is here now, in this place, and this practice is to bring about the Pure Land here in this body amongst all of our friends and neighbors. But the only way that we can do that is through study and practice, because that's truly the way to enlightenment, is actualizing the practice. It's not just having feel-good ideas about Buddhism and the philosophy of Buddhism, but it's actually putting it into practice. And the thing that made Nichiren Shonen so special was that he truly took study to the next level. Of all of the major figures, whether it was Honen, Shinran, Dogen, Issei, it was Nichiren Shonen who completed the full study at Mount Hiei. It was Nichiren Shonen that read every single sutra attributed to the Buddha or the Buddha's followers, searching for a single answer to a single question. If there's only one human being named Siddhartha Gautama who was a Buddha, not a god, how come there's so many teachings? What is his highest teaching? What is the way? And in this time period when Nichiren Shonen was there was a lot of support from the government for any form of Buddhism or any form of religion that would support the government above and beyond everything else. And this is something that Nichiren Shonen just couldn't do, because he was all about the pureness of the Buddha's message, of the Dharma, right? It was not about getting anything in return, that it was the Buddhism of sowing, not of reaping, of spreading, not of gaining. And so one of the core principles that really fired up Nichiren is the one that I want us to really think about ourselves, which is the pursuit of gratitude in Buddhism, which is where we came from this last year. And it's summed up in his Gosho, Sado Gokankisho, Sado Gokankisho. I, Nichiren, vowed to study and master Buddhism and to obtain Buddhahood so that I would be able to save the people whom I had received favors. To attain Buddhahood, one must not think selfishly, even at the cost of his life. So the reason that we study and we practice is so that we can be of more service. The thing that made Nichiren so powerful was the fact that because he had studied all of the sutras, any debate that anyone had about them, Nichiren Shonen was able to discuss them knowledgeably and to show them, not to prove his own intellect, but to show them the right way for their own benefit, according to the Buddha. And at times, yes, he was harsh. He came off as harsh. Give up your false views and such. But really, why did he do that? Because he was looking at all of these other sects of Buddhism that basically were picking and choosing. Pure Land was saying that, oh, all you have to do is believe in Amida Buddha of the Western world, and you don't have to be good in this life, and you don't have to have everything's kind of crap in this life. We'll be better in the next life, and we don't need sutras. We don't need all that other teachings of the Buddha. Just believe in Amida. Well, this goes against the teachings of the Buddha, which is that this here now is the Pure Land, not some other place. Right? So the compassion that Nichiren showed was to tell people, no, this is going to lead you down the wrong way. And he knew, because of chapter 13 of the Lotus Sutra, that anyone who preaches the Lotus Sutra is going to get smacked down by life. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to persecute them. And you'll know you're on the right path when you receive that difficulty yourself. So he knew he was on the right path. When he spoke out against Zen, it was not because he felt that meditation was a wrong path. Quite the contrary. He practiced Zen, he practiced meditation. Right? It came from Mount Hiei to begin with, right? Insight meditation and such. They went back to China, they brought more, but then when they came back, they thought, oh, all we need is just silent meditation. Forget the sutras, throw all that stuff out the window. Forget the Buddha for that matter. So Nichiren Shonin, in his compassion towards all beings, all sentient beings, said, no, this is a false view. This is a wrong way. Not because of his own arrogant view, but because he genuinely loved people and wanted them to find the way to Buddhahood now, in this world, in the Pure Land here, seeing Buddhas all around them, seeing the beauty of the world all around them. Shingon. Shingon is esoteric Buddhism, of which Nichiren Shonin was heavily versed and used aspects of Mikyo, of this practice in his own practice. But what he also realized is that it was a limited vessel. That the Buddha in the Nirvana Sutra said you should practice the teachings that include everyone, not just some. And the problem with Shingon was that it had hidden teachings, special ceremonies and such that only the initiated could get access to or gain from, which goes against the teachings in the Lotus Sutra that all beings are capable of enlightenment. It's there for everybody. So then we come to my favorite Gosho from Nichiren Shonin, the one that is hammered into every shami from the beginning, which is Shohoji Sosho, learning and practice. Have faith in the great Mandala Gohonson, the most venerable one in the entire world. Earnestly endeavor to strengthen your faith so that you may be blessed with the protective powers of Shakyamuni Buddha, the Buddha of many treasures and the Buddhas in manifestation throughout the universe. Strive to carry out the two ways of practice and learning. Without practice and learning, Buddhism will cease to exist. Endeavor yourself and cause others to practice these two ways of practice and learning, which stem from faith. If possible, please spread even a word or a phrase of the sutra to others. So humbly at the end, he asks us, if you guys don't mind, if it's possible, if you got a little time, could you spread the sutra to others? But the truth is that we have to strive by carrying out practice and learning simultaneously, that if we aren't practicing the Buddhism we talk about, that we study about, that we're learning about, then it's completely useless. It's completely useless. It's the lotus seed that sits in the pure and beautiful water, but never actually gets out there in the muck and mire to grow. So this year, our mission for this temple is to study and practice, to learn more, to really look at Nichiren Shonin's writings. All of us here have taken several years to really start diving into the Lotus Sutra. We have books by Jeff Shonin that have helped us through the study guides, and we've had lectures and we've talked about parables. But what we haven't done is talk a lot about Kanjin Honson Sho, Kaimokusho, Oanjo, Rishon Kokuron, the writings, the seminal writings of Nichiren Shonin, where there's actually amazing insights in there. And not only their insights, but unlike a lot of spiritual advisors, he makes direct reference, just like a scholar, to specific sutras, to specific portions that you can go read yourself. He's not asking you to believe things solely, on just what he says. He's like, no, go look, go see. So if we're going to be better practitioners, we have to study, we have to learn, and we have to practice. So with our Jikai, with our behavior this year, it's practice daily whenever possible, morning and evening if you can, once a day if you can. Once every other day, whatever you can do, practice on a regular basis. And study, read the sutras. If you haven't read the Lotus Sutra, read the Lotus Sutra. If you haven't read any of Nichiren Shonen's writings, read his writings, and we'll study them each Sunday. We'll do a new aspect of another portion. Tuesdays, Thursdays, great study times. Come here. We do Shodaigyo, we study sutras, we study all the teachings of Nichiren Shonen. But specifically, we're going to focus on education this year, 2018. Education of our members, of our lay leaders, to really understand why we're doing this. So let's chant 3 times together. And let's start off our 2018 with passion and vigor for the mission of study, practice, and learning. Namu Myo Renge Kyo. Namu Myo Renge Kyo. Namu Myo Renge Kyo. Please bless and protect our abbot, my master Kanjin Shonen, his master Smoto Shonen, his master Kansei Shonen, as well as all the Shami in our lineage, Kansei, Kanne, Kanjo, and myself, as well as all the lay leaders and all of the Sangha and members of Enkyoji, and all those who have no one to pray for them. Thank you very much. Happy 2018.